So about a year and a half ago, I tested out this camera here. This is the Canon EOS R. And now looming on the announcement of the EOS R5 or R6, whatever that's gonna be, I thought it was important to revisit this camera. Because as I mentioned, it was a year and a half ago when I first tested it out. And then it was about another year from then when I actually decided to purchase this camera. Now, the reason why I decided to purchase this camera was because by all intents and purposes, this is probably the best companion to the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera lineup. They use the same battery, they can use the same lenses, and for a lot of other good reasons, well, they're just kind of the perfect pairing. But now that I've had this camera for 6 months and there's a new version on the way, I thought it'd be important to let you guys know what I think now. What's good, creative fan? Brandon Washington here. And first of all, if you're brand new to the channel, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button because this channel is all about filmmaking gear, tips, and tutorials. So how's that for a throwback? So in today's video, we are gonna be taking a look at the Canon EOS R. Now, as I mentioned before, I have had this camera now for about 6 months, and I absolutely love this camera. Now, initially when this camera first came out and I reviewed it, my biggest gripe was the price. I thought that it was a phenomenal camera, but the price really made it difficult for me to pull the trigger on, especially in a time when cameras like the Sony a7 III were brand new to the market and were basically just a monster as far as specs, for price, overall value was concerned. Now, about 6 months ago when I picked up this camera, Canon was having this flash sale on this camera. Basically felt like they were just trying to get rid of it. And I was able to pick up this camera at a really solid price, making it an awesome buy. But more importantly, it was an awesome buy because I've also, since making that original video, have shifted over to shooting most of my video on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K. This meant that this camera was primarily going to be a video secondary camera and a photography main camera, which is honestly where this camera belongs. As far as a overall camera goes, this camera does a phenomenal job. You're gonna get amazing photo quality with that amazing Canon color straight out of it. You're also gonna be able to get some really good high quality 1080p high bit rates out of this thing. You can shoot in C-Log, and yeah, okay, you can shoot it in 4K. The crop has not gotten any better. In fact, it feels worse somehow because there's just so many other camera options now. But no, the 4K crop is still pretty bad. But that's definitely something that you can work around, especially when this is not your main video camera. As I mentioned before, my main video camera is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, which I absolutely love. And this makes for a beautiful companion. I mean, the way I have it currently set up, they both use the same lenses, they can use the same batteries, they can use the same media, and so many other reasons make them a perfect pairing. Now, I say all this to let you guys know that yes, I still have a Sony a7 III and I still use it quite frequently. Now, I don't use it as much as I use this camera, and that is because, as far as I'm concerned, this is the perfect jack of all trades camera. The only problem, it's a master of none. It's not perfect at video, it's not perfect at photo, but when it's allowed to sit in its place of being a great secondary camera, I think it works great. So why does this matter, and why am I looking at this camera today, or why am I choosing to review it? Well, as we all know, Canon is really on the edge of getting ready to announce all the details of the EOS R5 and potentially the R6. And with these two cameras coming out, I believe Canon shooters are going to rejoice. Now, since the announcement of these cameras are right around the corner, Sony's been fairly quiet. I mean, I think everybody thought, especially me when I made that original review on this camera, we all thought we were gonna see an a7S III way sooner, in which we still haven't seen it. And this has people looking all over the place for their next camera. Now, as we all know, the camera is really not that important, but let's all face it. You wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't care about gear. So yeah, we all care about gear. And so that is where we currently are. we're days away from hearing what the EOS R5 and R6 are gonna look like, and if we're gonna pull the trigger on those, and what the price points are gonna be, what are the ultimate specs gonna really look like, are there gonna be any kind of, you know, Canon shooting themselves in the foot type moments, which we all know they've been guilty of in the past. But what does this mean? Well, I don't really know all the details with these new cameras, but here's one thing I will say. Whether you're choosing to shoot on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, or you're currently a Canon shooter, or you're looking at buying the R5 or the R6, I strongly recommend that you consider the EOS R original body. The main reason being is that it is a phenomenal secondary camera. I'm making this video for anyone out there who's maybe been considering this camera, thought about picking it up. Now, let's be real. I'm not telling you to go buy this camera right now because, let's face it, Canon's about to release probably 2 new cameras in just a couple days. But with them announcing these 2 new cameras, I really do think that we're gonna see something awesome with this camera, and that is the price going down. Just because the price of the camera goes down doesn't mean that the quality of that camera goes down. This is still a phenomenal camera. And so if the price goes down with the announcement of the EOS R5 or the R6, that is definitely when I think you should jump on the bandwagon and pick up one of these guys. And let's also face the fact that we know that a ton of used EOS R5s are probably going to flood the market very soon because so many people are going to be looking to get off of them in order to upgrade to the R5 or R6. So should you pick up an EOS R? Well, personally, I think you should. I think it is a phenomenal camera, and after owning it for 6 months, it works very well. Does it have limitations? Absolutely. Now, if you are someone who's thinking about picking up the EOS R as your primary camera, I think you're gonna be fine. There are tons of videos, including my own, where they go over some of the details and some of the limitations of these cameras. Now, if you are someone who can live within those details, like for example, I shoot a ton of real estate videos, and this is the camera that I use to actually shoot all those real estate videos, because I don't need to shoot them in 4K, the crop doesn't bother me, it works great. 1080p, flawless. It looks amazing, the shots are great, and no client has ever complained about the overall quality of the video. This is a great camera for jobs like that. So you really just have to ask yourself, what is it that I need, and can this camera provide it? And for most, I personally think that the EOS R, it can do it. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you thought this video was helpful and you're excited about the EOS R5 or R6, hit that thumbs up button. Also, let me know what you guys are hoping to see in the EOS R5 or 6. I'd love to see those down below in the comments as well. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, possibly after the R5 and R6 has been announced. Peace.